Hey guys, what's going on? It's Meshi with Path to Wellness with Meshi. First of all, we're not planning on shooting today, but we are shooting today. So in today's video, I wanted to share with you a little bit about my own zero waste journey that I thought that you might find quite interesting, especially as we're leading up to the holiday season. So I will be sharing with you a couple of the things that have come up with for me personally that has shifted since starting a zero waste lifestyle, especially as we're moving more into the holiday season. So if you wanted to see what changed in the last little bit and how I'm going to be just quite different for this holiday season, then just stay tuned and let's get started with the video. So here's the thing with the whole zero waste thing, and I find that it's just things get really hyped up really quickly sometimes. And honestly, zero waste really is just, to me personally, it's almost like that's how you should have been doing this all along. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I always sort of felt like when people talk about minimalism or, there's a lot of fear that kind of goes around that because it sent a message, at least it did to me, of just like giving up and really like what you will live without. But I'm finding as I went through quite a big purge this year that living with less, it actually creates a lot of clarity. And then especially when you work with energies and you understand how everything around you is there to support you, then a lot of things that are around us is not actually there supporting us. So this is sort of where like my fascination and honestly just it has absolutely intrigued me when I saw moms being home and then everything's all homemade and like their fridge just looks like the bomb when everything is just like super organized and like reduced packaging. Like, to me, that lifestyle was always very intriguing, but it always felt really unattainable, or at least I didn't really see myself how to get to that point. So honestly, like with the zero waste thing, I find that like certain things get really hyped up really quickly. I haven't really seen like a really nice balance where we're honoring the fact that most of you are working full time. We're honoring the fact that, like most of you are not going to be sitting there and, like making your own almond milk or your own rice milk. And unfortunately, that's how obsessed I was when I got pregnant and things like that. So for me, like the eco living and the zero waste thing has been a thing for me for a really long time. And honestly, I just, at this point where I've given myself and I hit that level of maturity, or let's hope so, that I just realized that, you know what, like it's not an all or nothing thing. It doesn't have to be an all or nothing. Every little bit counts. And honestly, it starts with your mindset. So for me personally, what has shifted, what I didn't really realize that's going to shift me more than anything, when I focused on having less, or when I started asking myself certain questions, like, do I actually need this thing or am I filling up a void with it? When I started asking certain questions, then it allowed me to become a more conscious consumer. And not only that, but it allowed me to just manage my own energy and manage my own finances and manage just the things that I'm purchasing and allowing that to actually make a better impact, because it wasn't an impulsive purchase. And I see that, well, you probably see this all the time. So one of the most interesting things that has shifted for me with a zero waste lifestyle and becoming more conscious of what I'm buying and how much plastic everything has was really just understanding like why I was purchasing certain things. And I was purchasing certain things like, I don't know, like I would buy more makeup than I needed without really looking through my drawer and seeing, like I would buy it because I'm bored rather than because I actually needed a particular item where I ran out of something. Like I would buy like a palette because, oh, I'm bored with the existing colors. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't out of necessity. It was just really out of just boredom. Had I taken the time to really spend more time on, taking care of my own mental health rather than just trying to fill it with stuff, when you start paying attention to why you're purchasing certain things, then and literally like all it takes is for you to take an extra second to just check in, like, do I actually need this, or am I just buying it because I, through marketing and whatever, they make me feel like, or they create that emotional reaction for me to like want to buy the thing, right? And it's very, very interesting when you tap into that, because then you can override a lot of your impulses, and then you're no longer going to be an impulsive shopper. You're going to be a really conscious consumer. So, and I can attest to this because there's a difference between going into, and I'm not knocking any of the large retailers by any means, but watch what happens when you go into a large retailer versus going into a small family owned store that has less stuff or less like commercially sold things. Like go into like a family owned bookstore is a perfect example. People will look you in the eye. They will actually take you to the thing. They will help you find the whatever you're looking for. And it's not to say that the large retailers will not do that, but there's definitely a level of, like, I need to stock the shelf. You know what I mean? Like, at least that was sort of my impression of it a lot of the time. So I don't know how you feel about it, but that was the first thing that has shifted for me. When buying, especially when buying gifts, like the whole gift giving thing for me is now very much becoming more about meaningful gifts rather than just let me buy you more. And you actually don't need to buy them more. You just need to be a little bit more mindful of what you are buying if you're going to be buying. And like, let's start right there. If you're going to be buying it, can you make it? Don't talk to me about like, oh my God, like it's only the crafty ones. I'm sorry, but Pinterest and YouTube are like cluttered. Legitimately, they are cluttered with so many DIY recipes. And like, for like $7 you can make like gifts for 3 people. And I mean, honestly, I don't want to be like, I can attest to this, but I'm serious. I bought for like maybe $10. I bought like a full block of both beeswax, and then now today I bought some soy wax. You melt that sucker down, you can buy for like $1 these little tumbled pieces of crystals. You choose whichever one you want, and then you can place it in there. Super meaningful. Like, I had to go back to the store to buy more beeswax because I'm going to be keeping one for myself, because I'm like, I'm not going to be giving it all away. But it's just little things, and like people really appreciate it when you take the time out of your day to create something out of like nothing. Even if you're not going to be making your own gift, that's totally fine. But then get them gifts that are like actually useful. Don't just get them like another kit of like lip balm. Like, how many lip balms do you need, honestly? So, just kind of think about like how, like, the type of consumer that you become a more conscious consumer when it comes to your own shopping, and then you will also become a more conscious buyer when you're buying something for other people. Like, you will take the time to think about, what would that person actually want? What would that person really need to see? How would that make that person feel? And if you take that extra time to really just run that through your head, the things that you're going to be giving are probably going to be not as expensive, and it'll be way more meaningful, and people will probably appreciate it a lot more. Even if you're not giving gifts, you will probably find that you may become more present. And I mean, I've heard retailers tell me this a lot. When you can feel it. Like, you can feel that they're just getting really stressed out. They're trying to rush, or they're trying to, like, they're apologizing that they took like an extra second that you had to wait. And I'm just like, it's okay. Like, it's not a big deal. And at the end of the day, if you think about it, like how much time you actually have to wait, it's still not a big deal. The other thing that was really big is just checking in with my own energy. Like, it allowed me to tune in a little bit more, because when I removed a lot of the things around my home that were like, I realized how much of it was really I was not using, or they were just not really serving me, or it was just creating a lot of waste unnecessarily. It allowed me to really pre-plan if I'm going to be going out for lunch. But it's not just about going out for lunch, but just consuming less in general, when really it's just buying what you actually need and not what you're impulsively gravitated towards, and then being excited and happy about the things that you have, and actually appreciating it for the things that it's giving you, and for the way that they're serving you. So the zero waste lifestyle, yes, we're going to be talking about like use less plastic and, like use reusable material and, don't harm the animals. And those are all true. But honestly, to me, the zero waste lifestyle can be pretty much summed up with just saying you're going to be becoming a more conscious consumer and a more conscious human. So if like if you care about the environment, once you understand how there's like a full correlation between what you eat and what you buy and the things that you consume, and then the mindset that sort of supports all of that. Because keep in mind, you can't have it's sort of like having a clean home with a cluttered mind. You know what I mean? Like, how, why, like if you think about it logically, like why do people say, like, like if their desk is nice and clean and tidy, they can think clearly? Yeah, no kidding. Because your environment, like your physical environment, you can take your desk for example. If your desk is cluttered, then that also means that there's a mental clutter that you have as well. And by the way, like, you shouldn't be waiting until spring to do spring cleaning. Like, to me, the whole spring cleaning thing is kind of dumb, because honestly, you should be maintaining that environment around you so that it can serve you the best possible way that it can. So you will probably find, especially if you're new to the zero waste movement, honestly, like, it would just, as you go along, you can take your time. And it's not about, how many reusable bags you have or how many of the latest gadgets that you have. It's more just about just tuning in and see how you consume. How are you as a consumer? And how are you as a customer? And then how are you as a business owner if you do run your own business? But as a consumer, like, for you to be consuming unconsciously and for you to be consuming for the sake of consuming, like, like, again, it just goes a little bit beyond just, reusable coffee filters. Because you can, again, like we talked about this before, you can buy the thing, but unless you make the mental shift when you're understanding why you need to buy the thing or how it actually is there to support you, then you can buy all of the things, but it's still not going to help you. It's sort of the same principle of, you can go to the gym and you can do the workout, but until you deal with your emotional traumas, then not much will stick. And like, this has been proven many, many times over. So just, I wanted to talk to you about more about the psychology behind and the mindset shifts behind the zero waste movement, because it goes so much deeper than, you know, buy less plastic, or you know what I mean. Like, and I realize, like, I respect the fact that people try to make it sound really simple and easy and attainable, because it is relatively simple. Simple does not mean that it's easy. It's a conscious decision that you want to not be a jerk when it comes to consuming things, and you don't want to leave behind a shitty footprint for your kids and for your grandchildren. So again, and it's not about the whole righteousness of like, oh, if you're eating meat, you're going to die and you're going to go to hell. Not about that. It's not about the judgment or the prejudgmental pretenses that we leave behind. It's more just about like understanding, educating, and it's like, listen, did you know that, like, if you eat this and this and this, it's not really good for you, and it will leave a shitty carbon footprint behind. And by the way, it's harming a ton of animals. Did you know? Because like, most people have no idea. And they have no idea because if all they're exposed to is just the righteousness, or all they're exposed to is just what's readily available at Walmart, well, then you're not really creating a culture where you're going to have more conscious consumers. So I'm just asking you to just tune in and see, really take a hard look at how are you as a consumer, and how does that really relate to the holidays? Because your behavior pattern might change during the holidays, especially when you're around more family and things like that, and it's really advertised to just buy more things and buy more things. Okay, why are we buying more things and then you're still a jerk to me? How does that help anyone? It doesn't. You could have just like kept your money and then come and show up to my party on time, or be kind, or ask me how I'm doing. That's what I mean by about the zero waste lifestyle, that it just goes a little bit more beyond buy less plastic. Yes, buy less plastic, but also become a better human in the process. Because once you start paying attention to why you're consuming what you're consuming, then everything will shift. So this is all I wanted to share with you guys. I hope that you found this helpful. Let me know if you are new to the zero waste movement, and if you have had any of these mindset shifts happen to you in the past little while, because these have been really interesting for me, and honestly I cannot wait for the holiday season because I'm approaching it from such a different angle than how I have been in the past. I'm a lot less anxious, I'm a lot more easygoing about it. So I would love to hear from you, and let me know if you did I tell you anything new? I don't know, but let me know in the comments. I would love to hear from you. Let's start this conversation about the zero waste lifestyle, because I think that it's just, that's how we can all learn and grow as a community if we start supporting one another. So I wanted to thank you right before the holiday season that you tuned in. I truly appreciate it. I hope you have yourself a wonderful holiday season. And if you're brand new here, then we chat a little bit about zero waste, about green beauty, about spiritual practices. Those are my absolute favorite ones if you ask me. But we kind of dive into a few different topics here just to help you become a more conscious consumer, a more conscious human who can manage anxiety, stress, overwhelm, all of that fun stuff a little bit better. So if that sounds good to you, then you can hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a video, and you can hit the notification bell so that you get updates every time I release a video. And because I go into a few different topics throughout the week, I usually release a video every Tuesday, Thursday, and once on the weekend. In this case, it's happening on a Sunday. So because I go into a few different topics, you might not know when I'm going to be releasing what. So what I have done for you to help you out, because I understand that you're pretty busy, I usually send out a roundup email every single Sunday that shows the best takeaways from each of my videos, and I also give you the schedule for the following week so you don't miss a beat. If that sounds good to you, link is in the description so you can sign up for that. And in the meanwhile, keep seeking wellness, seekers, keep shining your light, and I wish you from the bottom of my heart the most wonderful holiday season. And I'll see you again next time. Bye.
Oh my goodness. So, somebody will say something about this, so I'm just going to address this. You might see, I don't know, maybe this will not show on camera. Let's hope that it won't. But if you see that there's a discrepancy a little bit between my face and my neck, that's probably because I'm testing out new makeup, and I don't think I got the right shade. Clearly, we're working on it. We're getting there. We're going to forgive that. The makeup is thebomb.com. We're not going to talk about this too much in detail, but I just thought I would let you know.